I think that it's, looking at the positive side of it, right? There still are tremendous opportunities. I think anytime that there are massive changes, right, like we're seeing right now, whether it's iOS
Right.
14, whether it's in increased regulation, whether it's volatility in the stock market, people make money, right? People make money in bear markets, make money in bull markets. People that get greedy get slaughtered. That's the famous
Right.
saying, pigs get slaughtered. And so, like, that's why I'm always excited when we talk, because you have such a rich network of like the who's who of the smartest people in the world who don't just teach marketing and business and like investing, all that stuff, but they actually do it on a regular basis. And so I wanted to like pivot to that and talk a little bit about like steal our winners and the coalition to save internet businesses and everything that we did last in the live stream, because I think it's so important now more than ever to have guidance, right? Like a lot of people are
Right.
lost right now. They need guidance and they're struggling with who do I turn to, and the options right now is like I got to pick one individual and buy their course. It's a big risk. It's like one person, hopefully they're legit. But what you're doing, which is really cool, but also very, very difficult to do because you need to have a massive network,
Yeah.
is why pick one person when I can bring in like 50 people and every month talk to, 5 or 8 of them, and then they share the coolest thing they're doing right now that nobody knows about. And you get that kind of insider look, that early access, which is super cool. So I want to like, let's talk about that. Like what's going on there.
Yeah, well, and it's also like so we launched Steal Our Winners with this 24-hour live stream, right? The council or committee got thrown back and forth to save internet business, CSIB, and we just launched it in Italy. Like, we just launched it this month. We're launching it in Italy. It's in we it's in Japan. It's been in Japan for about 6 months, and it's been here in the U.S. now for 12 months. And I think next month we're launching in Brazil. And because it's the same everywhere, that big tech can be leveraged, but they're not our friend. And it's clear that they're not our friend when you look at certain stats. And like the stat that really kind of woke me up to it more than anything else was when Google passed the threshold of more than 50% of the search traffic not leaving Google, because that really violates the whole. I mean, every big tech company has violated stuff. Facebook was inviting every business to get all their customers and all their advertising to point to Facebook, because then you'd be able to talk to your customers forever. And then they changed the rules about who shows up in the newsfeed. So after we sent, that happens, right? But like with search, the whole concept of search was like, we're going to scrape your sites, take all your content, but that's so that people can find your content and be sent there. It doesn't work if it's like, hey, I'm going to scrape all your content, and half of the visitors that it generates, I'm keeping for myself. And, some of the visitors you'll get, and it's only half right now, it might be 80% I'm going to keep for myself next year. It just doesn't seem to work. So for people who are not aware, that last January in 2020 or December of 2019, somewhere around there, Google surpassed where 50% of the searches do not leave Google properties after they do a search. And that just seems inherently unfair. And so that's why we launched it. And there are lots of strategies that can be done to bypass or at least mitigate damages from big tech, right? So there are those that most people don't know, right? Like things that you take for granted that now, because I'm friends with people like you, I know myself, but didn't know beforehand, like the idea of having a pristine account where all your audiences are, so that you can never lose access to your audiences in like a Facebook ads
Yeah.
account, right? Like, so I didn't know that. Lots of people don't know that. And when they lose their Facebook account, they lose all their audiences. But if they knew that, they wouldn't lose their audiences. And I'm sure if you're a really big company, Facebook makes sure that you get your audiences and you don't lose your audiences, even if they have to ban an account. But we don't get that treatment. We just launched something as like another concept that we covered because I know we covered that in Steal Our Winners. We covered in Steal Our Winners another thing where Jeremy Blossom laid out this co-reg process, right?
That's
Because
brilliant.
there's no point, right? for lots of companies to pay Google for the same lead. So we just, that was a strategy that Jeremy laid out. And then Jeremy and I just started doing it, where we're running traffic to steal our winners and traffic and funnels, and Todd Brown, marketing funnel automation, and Groove from Mike Filsaime, and Ryan Levesque, Ask. And I think the Morrisons, I'm not sure if they're in, but like we're all now spreading the cost of those leads, amongst each other. Yeah. So we're giving Google less, right? One of us is paying Google instead of 6 of us, right? And so there's strategies like that. But like in the grander scheme of things, and I'm sure you've kind of experienced this yourself countless times, the whole concept at the end of the day with marketing strategies online is when they're new, they work exceptionally well. When they start getting older and everyone has seen them before, they become less effective. So, we were talking offline about it, that like when I brought the VSL to Agora that John Benson invented, and I saw like, luckily, like within a week of when he put it out, I brought it to Agora. Like Agora grew by 400% that year because conversion rates went up 400%. But today, when we test a VSL versus a regular sales letter, sometimes a sales letter wins, sometimes a VSL wins. The difference is de minimis. And but if you got on VSLs early, you saw your business grow, you saw your customer list grow. It was so effective that we could run a 60-second spot on Fox News advertising the VSL, which was a 70-minute VSL, and we could still acquire customers like profitably at that, right? Like 60 seconds on Fox, sending them to a 70-minute VSL, and it was still effective, right? Like that would not work today at all. And when I invented the automated webinar, same thing. And so, we gave it to Filsaime, gave it to Brunson, and they crushed it, and I was crushing it, but we wouldn't crush it today. And so the idea of plugging into marketers and entrepreneurs who have figured something out right now, that they're crushing it right now, and getting them to share it with others, that's not easy to do. But getting those strategies is the fastest way to really grow your business, grow your profits, grow your marketing, et cetera, because those strategies are the competitive advantage online.
Yeah, it's what's crazy is, like you said, it's the top guys don't usually like to share their secret sauce. And you've been able to develop this really special relationship, this network that's both wide and deep, which is unusual, and get like the top guys and women in the world to just like open up and say like, hey, I have a really cool new strategy. I could either selfishly keep it to myself for the next year or two and milk it for all it's worth, or I could share it with, steal our winners through Rich and let, hundreds or thousands of other people leverage it. And yeah, it might decrease the value of it quicker, but it's going to help a lot of people. And I think it's really special and really unique, which is also why I think there's nothing like it out there, right? And that's hard to say in the info product space in our industry, that it's a truly unique product. I don't think there's a lot of courses, there's a lot of group coaching, there's a lot of masterminds, there's a lot of everything else, but like this unique kind of newsletter model where it's multiple experts each month sharing top tips, behind the scenes look is just awesome. Like it's one of the coolest things.
Yeah, and I think they like the way Matt, who's like, who runs the day-to-day of Strategic Profits, I think he was more involved in this because I certainly wasn't. But he positioned it as a virtual mastermind. And in a way it is, from the standpoint that the most exciting part of a mastermind is finding out what everyone, like what's working. And that's exactly what this is every month, but from people who you want to know, like if they've figured out something new. And it's actually cool is that what I'm really excited about is we're starting, and I wouldn't say that it's the majority because it isn't, but we're starting to get people who are completely unknown like they're just like heavyweights in their own business and whatever, but have figured something out and are willing to share it. And those kind of strategies, like if they're not shared, they might not ever be known by anyone. Right.
Yeah.
So like we had this one this past month with Walter Baruch, who figured something out about YouTube that was like really kind of very interesting, because he spent $500,000 to test different stuff to see what would work. And yeah, that kind of stuff like is just, it's invaluable because most people don't have the 500,000 to test, and they don't have Walter's knowledge and background to know what to test, right? Or like when you shared the story of how you took the Onnit acquisition for Alpha Brain down from like 130 or 113 or whatever it was down to $12 to $13. Like before I heard what you did to do that, like I was completely unaware of those strategies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's like what you take for granted, what I take for granted, that really makes campaigns work for us in our different areas of expertise most people don't know about, and they pay a price daily because they don't know about it.
Yeah, that's the way, is like reframing the way you think about things. I think a lot of people look at, hey, this program costs X, and they view it purely as an expense or a cost instead of, hey, I'm losing Y every day because I'm doing these things wrong. And for me, at least, like once I started investing in myself years ago, and it took me a long time. For years, I tried to just cheap it out and like, I'm not going to invest in mastermind or courses or trainings. I lost I mean, like the amount of money I lost and the amount of time I lost because I didn't do some really simple things that I could have figured out if I just like joined somebody's program is crazy in hindsight. And that's what's like, I think everyone needs to view any type of investment in education or training or coaching as, right? It's like, hey, whether it's $97, $9,000, it's shrinking the length of time it takes to get from A to Z. I'm mitigating the amount of mistakes I'm going to make. I'm decreasing the amount of money I'm going to lose along the way, and time is way more valuable. Plus, the other thing I'll say here is like, courses are great, right? Like I've done courses in the past. The problem though is a lot of it can be fluff, right? A lot of it, it's like you need to put out a course that feels like it's worth it, right? So it's got to be 40 hours of videos,
Right.
Like, do you have time to sit through 40 hours of courses? Like most people don't. Whereas like what you do every month is you distill a really actionable strategy in a 30 to 60-minute window. So like if I'm a busy entrepreneur, a busy marketer, like I just want that stuff, right? I want the gold. I don't want all the fluff. I want, 5 videos a month or whatever it is with a 30 to 60-minute clip that I can watch really quickly, and I have an actionable tactic. Maybe 2 are relevant, maybe 3 aren't, but the 2 that are relevant, that's going to move the needle for me each month. And
Yeah, and
it's
and what we
exciting.
do is, yeah, you keep lowering the number, but it's 8 to 12, and
8 to
I
12.
want to move it back
I'm
to
lowering the
12
bar so
this
you
month.
can
Yeah.
raise it back up and value stack it.
But then what we do is transcribe it, and then we create this one-page strategy document. And so it's really, and now we're starting to tag so people can know like what areas of the business. But all people have to do is really look at that one-page strategy document, see if it applies to them or not. Right? It has most of the steps there anyway, so they could just apply it. But watch the videos on the strategies that they're going to use. Where we're going with it, where like, and I can't promise it's going to be next month because it's not going to be next month, but it will be this year. Eventually there will be SOPs for everyone so that you could just hand the SOP to someone, right, to do for you. The next stage of evolution, which I'm hoping to do in 2021, I can't, now these are all, but this is where we're going, is to work out with outsourcing companies, have them outsource that SOP for us, give a result, make that company available for others so that they could just, that's a good strategy. I want to use that. Let's use the company to do that. And then what I'd like to do is when we're doing it, report back each month how that strategy is doing, right? Like we're not there yet, right? Like we have to get a lot more people into Steal Our Winners so that we
Yep.
can like use that revenue to do those things. But that's where we're going with it. And the cool thing that it really excites me is just how many of our subscribers have gotten like insane results already. And like what and seeing so many people upgrade like 10 lifetime or annual like so quickly, like once they're in, which is really kind of uh, affirming on a very I guess personal level that like, okay, cool.
Yep.
Not because like we got some cool tactic getting people to upgrade, but people are like, damn, this is really good. You know, I might as well just sign up for life or sign up for a year. Um, just is very reaffirming, and I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, it validates the entire concept, right? It's like, hey,
Right.
if I got so much value from 1 month that I'm willing to say, what does it cost to do a lifetime deal? Like that says about all you need to know about the value of each individual program within that month, right? So
Right.
so I'm sure people that are like watching right now are like, this has got to be like insanely expensive. And I know the what you're charging now is just an insane deal for like these
Mhm.
mini masterminds with the best people in the
Right.
world. So and I know we're gonna drop like we're gonna include a link and all kinds of stuff, more
Right.
information. People check it out. But what's the deal for people that are listening right now to get started?
It's 49 it's 49 bucks a month, and there's no long-term, you know, commitment there. If people want to subscribe for the year, it's I think 300 bucks for the year. So it's half the price. And if they want to subscribe for lifetime, it's $1,000. And so if, you know, it doesn't really make sense to do it monthly except to taste it and see if it's as good as, you know, you like, because within 2 years you've already paid more than lifetime. And we plan on this really being the centerpiece of our business for a very long time. It for us, like as a marketer, we consider it to be the ideal front end. So as long as Strategic Profits is in business, which has been in business now for like 20 years, you know, this will be our flagship front end product. And you know, Max, you're also a contributor, so there are different kinds of deals that we will always make for you to make for your like closest people on your list and stuff, because that's what we do.
But I mean, yeah. But all I gotta say is like,
Yeah.
you can go out there. You can. There's individual courses that cost more than $1,000. And I know you got to run in a minute, but
Right.
I'll just say this: like, each one of the individuals every month, the 8 to 12 people that contribute, probably all have courses that they charge $1,000 to $2,000, $3,000 for. So
Most of them have
for
masterminds that
most
they
of the
charge
masterminds are 20,
25,000
30,
and up.
50,
Yeah.
50,000. So like the fact that for $1,000 they get lifetime access to the contributions, like the greatest, most distilled, valuable
Mhm.
strategies from the top names in marketing. When you go to, I'll put the link in here so you can go check out
Right.
every big name that's been in it, every big name coming up on it. It's a who's who. It's all the top people in the world. Like it's not hyperbole when I say like it's the most obvious deal for anybody that's serious about growing their business. Like it's a better deal than stuff that we sell. Like I'm gonna put it right there. Like if you're thinking of buying like paid traffic training for the year or Steal Our Winners, go do Steal Our Winners. It's way more for what they're charging. I can't beat that. So we'll just you won that deal. So our customers don't buy from me. Go buy Rich's stuff. I know you got to run, man. I know we had to shrink this down because of my baby schedule life, but I always have fun chatting with you. It's always like a highlight of my week or month. Like I said, I'm serious. We need to like we'll just start the
Well,
Rich and Max show.
yeah, let's have me back as your next guest, and then let's go much deeper into big tech and like current events. How about that?
That sounds great, man. Well,
All right,
enjoy the
cool.
rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk soon. I'll see everyone on the next show. Thanks, guys.